think is a new chapter in Ugandan basketball, a new beginning for KIU basketball program, which we feel that will go a very long way in the development of our basketball program and basketball in Uganda generally. You may realize, most of you who follow the game of basketball, that there are very few clubs, if I may say, or none, that have a structured organization that we want to put in place as we unveil our new board this morning. We thought it wise that for us to develop, for us to grow the game generally, we need to be organized, we need to have structures in place, and we need to move away from the tendency of one-man individual-owned clubs, whereby if you're not there tomorrow, then the club will cease to exist. We have a plan that even after 100 years to come, the KIU basketball franchise must exist regardless of who is available or regardless of who is around. So that is why we want to take this direction to put structures in place. And by doing so, we have a structure where we have a president, we have a board of directors, and then we have management team. And in future, after settling in well, we shall also have an AGM where we shall have members subscribing to the club, and we shall be reporting to that AGM. So that is the kind of direction that we want to take. Myself, I'll be the president of the two clubs, that's KIU Titans and KIU Rangers. We shall have a board. So far we have 3 members of that board. And the chairman of the board is none other than Ssali. You all know him, he's a seasoned journalist, he's a sports person. Also, he's a basketball person, having been a player for the national team and all that during those days. So I think it was important for us to have him on board. You can't have it any better if you have a person of his caliber. Very knowledgeable about the game of basketball. He has been around the game for quite some time. And we believe that by him leading this team, we shall reach greater heights. Ssali, you're very welcome. On my left, I have Laman Masaba. He's also an ardent fan of basketball. He has followed the game and he has been in the game for quite some time. He's a banker, he's a consultant, and we believe that with his knowledge and expertise, and given the background in the game of basketball, it will also help us reach greater heights. Laman, you're welcome. On my extreme right, we have Alex Usinje, a PR guru. He's a consultant in communications and in that area. He's an ardent fan of the game of basketball. He has also been around the game for quite some time. He loves the game, he has passion for the game. And for me, that was very key to bring on board people who really know the game, people who understand the game, people who have passion for the game, and they have the technical ability to help and drive these two clubs to greater heights. Alex, you're welcome. For now, that is the board. We have a 3-man member board. But as I said earlier on, we shall also have a management team headed by a CEO, where we shall have the head of communications, the head of finance, head of marketing, such that we move in a more structured manner. We have our CEO who is around here. I don't know where he has moved, but I will introduce him when he comes back. It's called Walter Moses Walusimbi. Then we have our head of communications, Franklin Kaweru, the gentleman just right behind there. And we shall be bringing other members on the management team to complete the setup. For now, thank you very much. Those are my brief remarks. Thank you very much.
I am honored, I am privileged, actually quite pleasure to have been approached by our president, Mr. Nasser, Sserunjogi, to come and become part of this franchise. When he first talked to me about this, that was sometime last year, I sat down and gave it a good thought, and eventually I made the decision to join up. My passion for basketball is well known, or maybe some of you might not know. Basketball is largely one of the most passionate things about me is basketball. I am a versatile sports person. I've been involved in sport at different levels since I started out, and but basketball is the one that I played to the very highest level. I played football in the league at the same time as I played basketball. I was a student at the university. But for basketball, I didn't make it to the national team of football, but I made it to the national team of basketball, and I played for those 3-4 years. There were not as many engagements as they are now. Basketball has gone leaps and bounds. But then, of course, I soon quit. My knees gave way and everything. Thankfully, having rested them and then gone on a training regime and diet and all, I'm back on court. I play basketball, some of you know that I play again now. But I know that it's not in the playing capacity that KIU has brought me to court. I don't think they'll need my services on the court at all. Yeah, they are much younger men with more athletic people with better talent that are going to be playing. My duty will be to ensure that they play well by doing the things that I need to do off court. Alex, Lavan, Nasser, and I, and the rest of the team are going to ensure that we get KIU to a level where we compete for honors, not just in Uganda, but hopefully beyond our borders. It's one of the reasons that I've joined is because I'd like to help KIU to develop young talent, to get young people to play basketball, to get us to be able to be competitive here, to bring up the talent, to help feed into the national team, and also to ensure that the competition is wider. The basketball in Uganda has been at big level dominated by one club for quite a bit now. We would like to be able to get to a level where we challenge that, and then ensure that there's more excitement, there's more growth of the game. Like I said, there's more development of talent, and hopefully, as a team here, we'd like also to ensure that we bring corporate sponsorship on board. It is important for Uganda's corporate world to get more involved in basketball than they are right now, because this is a growth sport that is putting us on the map. The things that Uganda Silverbacks have done on the international stage, those victories, a couple of the last month of Morocco and Cape Verde, the strides that the Silverbacks are making are such that Ugandan basketball is on the rise. We want to be a great part of that, we want to be big contributors to that, and we want to be able to convince the corporate world in Uganda that their money is well spent if it comes into basketball, because I think it's one of the fastest growing sports in the country. So largely, in a nutshell, that is what has brought me on board, to come and ensure that we take the burden off Nasser's desk, out of his pocket, out of his clock, so he shares these burdens with everybody else, and hopefully I'm going to bring value to the table, and hopefully all of us as a team are going to do that. Thank you very much.
I have for a long time, for many for many years. I know I've been on, I spent many years in the position that you're in, covering the sport on a regional basis. And when I wrote stories back in the day of people like Sserunjogi, players like right now in the NBA, like Giannis Antetokounmpo, before they were a thing. And I used to look and I also used to watch these Titan games, and I had all this passion, and people who would see me at the game would hear me shouting almost loudest. But to be here, to be in a position right now where I can help to influence the direction of the team is just a dream come true. And I hope to serve with every bit of my being. I want to share all the knowledge that I have, everything that I've learned about the game. I spend a huge amount of time every day, almost maybe 3 hours every day, 3 to 4 hours, just following basketball. And I can say that there's surely a lot that has to be done, and a lot that can be brought to the team, and a lot that a lot of things that can be done and can take the team to places where it has never been. So I'm more than excited to be here, more than excited to be working with such a great team of people. I can't wait, honestly, to start serving the KIU Titans in this capacity as an appointed board member. I can't wait to get started. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I look forward to getting to work immediately.
Laman Masaba. I think most of you know me for football and Pro-Line Football Club. For quite a long period of time, I have been involved in most sports, basically mainly on the lower levels as a spectator. And many times I've been critical of those that run these sports. So last year, when we were having a conversation with Nasser on a different thing, I was a bit critical of the game, and the question was, why don't you help the game? Why don't you come in and try to run the game? It's not always good to basically criticize when you're not taking part into this. It's the same thing that happened with football. I was criticizing a lot management until Ssali asked me to come and be part of that team. And for those that follow that sport, you know we at least two Pro-Line last season. So in that context, I decided that, you know what, I need to make my contribution to the basketball game. I remembered when we were still at university playing the game. We could have, I think, sometimes about 3 or 4 spectators watching the game. But now I get impressed that people can even pay to watch basketball. I remember at that time we could only have Sprite as the sponsors. It would give us, I think, a crate of Sprite, and that was basically what the sponsorship was all about. But with the movement of the game to where it is today, we feel it shouldn't merely move without structures. So we need structures, whether it is KIU, whether it is Ssali or any other club in the league. They have to be structures for these teams to survive. Because at one time, me and Nasser are Muslims, we always believe that anytime you can go. So the question is, if say Nasser probably is called by God, what happens to KIU? It means it has gone with what? With Nasser. So in that context, we believe that we needed to have structures where the team can survive even after any of us has what? Has left. So in that context, Nasser, thank you very much for organizing this. Mark, hopefully we will work together and see how we can move this club and close the gap with a team that is dominant.
Let's keep the message. Let's keep the message.
Welcome to
try to gather value.